Hey guys, how you doing? Let's talk about Bitcoin and how Bitcoiners are losing money right now. Okay. By the way, fitting enough, I'm actually drinking something orange to go with the times. Bitcoin. What I want to talk about really is about Bitcoin and how much it costs to mine, right? And so-called what's called the downward spiral, right? So downward spiral, basically, let me define that first, is when a stock keeps going down, and then investors or people who own the company drive the price down, and then such that it makes more sense to drive the price down. And the more you drive the price down, the better for you as an investor, such that the company then dies because you keep driving the price down. I don't want to go into complex, right? Because there's convertible, technical topics on this, convertible bonds, convertible notes, whatever you call it. But here's the idea, right? The fundamental principle is that if the price goes down, the investor makes money. That's it. Which happens in finance a lot. So what will happen then? The investor then would be much more inclined to sell the stock, because the more they sell the stock, the more they sell your bond, the more the price goes down. And then funny enough, if you keep giving them stock and keep giving them bond, then they have more to sell and they keep selling. And what that does, then it brings down the price, right? That's it. It's common sense. No matter, again, I've worked in finance for all my life, 20 years. Finance, we're very, very, banking, we're very, very good at just coming up with terms. Crypto as well, we're good at coming up with terms, Ford and all that. But in truth, it's just, again, all this is common sense. Don't give people stock where they can control your price. They control your price, you're going down. That's what's happening to Bitcoin. That's what's happening to MicroStrategy. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how easy it is for people who hate Bitcoin to drive down the price of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has gone the wrong direction, right? And I've been preaching and going on about this, guys. If you love Bitcoin, you want to spend Bitcoin. If you love Bitcoin, right, what you want to do is make sure that Bitcoin is used as a currency. But what Bitcoiners have been doing for the last few years is to use it as a store of value. And the store of value is very dangerous. Guys, look at gold. Gold is a store of value. And look at what they do, right? If the Chinese government go around and buy tons of gold, guess what? It drives up the price. The EU have been buying gold recently. They started buying gold around September. So guys, look at this, right? September, they started buying gold. And guess what? The price steadily went up. By December, gold was at an all-time high. Same thing as always the Chinese, the Europeans. I think there are a few companies as well. Bank of Czech famously went in and just bought loads of gold around September. So what that does, that drives scarcity and brings up the price of gold. Now, what happened as well, same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin corporations were buying it and buying it and buying it. Now, when you hold it, all you have to do is just dump the stock. As soon as you dump the stock or dump the value, it drives down the price on investors, right? So this is common sense, guys. And I really hope people realize, and I'm not going to say it again because obviously, this is not my topic, right? So let me just talk about this. I'm the CEO of Orukka. Orukka is a tap to pay ring. So you don't need your wallet anymore. You don't need your phones. Specifically, I invented this. We founded this company to just reduce reliance on phones. So we rely on our phones a lot. Phones for payments, phones for calls, phones for social media. So I went out and one of my friends got started, and then we decided, listen, I'm going to stop banking and I'm going to build my own thing. So we built this from scratch with our money. So we're not really waiting for investors. We're not doing all the old social media push and all that. But we're selling out. So every time we buy it, it's all sold out, right? Again, we're fintech across 35 countries. So we're huge, slowly being huge. And we don't care about going through marketing. A lot of people come to me and go, oh, you should do more marketing, get more awareness. No, if you need us, you will know. If your phone gets stolen two, three, 4 times, what usually happens then? People come to us and they, hey, my phone just got stolen. I want to buy a ring for me, my wife, my family, my kids. Buy it and just go. Tap to go. Once you go ring, you never go wallet again. I say all that to say that we're independent, so we don't care about what happens here. So there are a few payment rings. You can go to China and buy some payment rings if you want to. You can buy some cheap payment rings on Amazon as well. That's okay. But we are a fintech in the sense that we actually we don't just do payment rings. We also do payment rings and the fintech app together. So when you buy our rings, you get a fintech app and you get your ring. And what happens then is these rings you can top up with card with any bank. Most banks, about 400 banks, it's accepted. And you can top up with crypto and Bitcoin and Binance and Coinbase. So this is the only ring that you can top up with everything you wanted to do. And what that means then is the fact that we're independent. When I talk about Bitcoin, I'm not talking about Bitcoin from the sake of, people want to invest and want this price to go up. I'm not talking about Bitcoin from the angle of people who, don't know what they're talking about or want you to buy Bitcoin and make money. We're independent. So, whichever, right? If you come with Bitcoin, we top it up for you. If you come with crypto, fiat, government money, we top it for you. However, we care about the customer here, right? See all that to mention, basically what's happening with Bitcoin then. So what's happened then is Bitcoin, people who love Bitcoin and who are advocates of Bitcoin, in the start, you used to buy Bitcoin and use Bitcoin. So what used to happen, and there's still a few people that do that today. Strike do that today. We're working with Strike actually to allow Strike customers just order a ring and tap to pay wherever. And we're doing something on the AI front as well with Strike. But the point I'm trying to make is Strike were the only ones, are still the only ones who are trying to make sure that you can spend Bitcoin every day. Other people are trying to buy and hold Bitcoin. And there's a risk there for investors. So if you are sitting there and people tell you go buy and hold Bitcoin because the price is high now, then think about it as well. When the price goes down, then you go in and say, hey, go buy more, and keep buying and buying and buying. And they try and compare it to gold. The downside with gold is that gold goes down. They go up and down. The governments manipulate the price of gold. Institutions manipulate the price of gold. Are you ready to go through that cycle? That's what you need to think about. Again, I'm not going to give financial advice here because technically we're a fintech, we're a bank, we're banking app. So I can't give a financial advice, but all I'm going to say is that if anyone tells you to go buy gold, to buy Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin, that the price is going to go up, there are two things there, right? Either they don't know what they're talking about or they haven't studied finance long enough to know about stock markets and what drives the price of commodities. Because again, Bitcoin is a commodity, it's not an asset, right? It's not a liquid asset per se as well. I did all. They just they really want, because they bought into it and they want you to buy into it as well. I think in my opinion, the best thing that could happen to Bitcoin is for people to spend it every day. I said it from the start. Like if you argue that Bitcoin is a currency against the government that is decentralized, in fact, Bitcoin was invented to be a P2P currency. But everyone forgets that. Like people conveniently don't mention that anymore. Why? Because they want you to buy and hold. And they say it's so valuable, you should buy and hold. But if it's valuable, it shouldn't be dropping as much as it's dropping. Like we all know gold drops, goes up and down. And why? Because of institutions. We also know as well gold is used. Gold can be used. So why can't Bitcoin be used, right? And then people say, oh, because, it's too valuable. And then if you use it, then you can't replenish it. It's a hedge against the government. No, if it's a hedge against the government, then use it every day. It's a hedge against the government, then you buy it, spend it, buy it back, spend it and buy it back. Then it becomes more valuable. The more people use it, the more the network grows and more it grows as an asset, as a currency, which it is. You could argue it's a store of value, but it's also a currency. Gold used to be a store of value. It used to be a currency. I think it's still a store of value technically. But again, it's a hedge against inflation. You can see what gold is, but it's not used. Like you can't go in and buy and have a haircut for gold, a bar of gold. You can get a flight. If there's war in your country, you can pay gold and get out of the country, right? But that's a worst case scenario. Let's hope we don't have to get into that. If you can't do that, then all you're left with then is just to buy gold and hold it, right? Which is what people want you to do with Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin should be for that. I think Bitcoin, again, is more valuable in the sense that it's a store of value, number one, because people think it's going to go up. And number two, and it goes down, by the way, and as you can tell. And number two, it can be used, right, as a peer-to-peer. It settles instantly. It's open, and people will argue and say, "Oh, you can't use Bitcoin to cut your hair." Yes, you can. There are a lot of companies out there that are doing it. The question is for you to find them, right? I mean, we're already doing it, so technically, you can buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin. If you open up Strike, connect Strike to your ring, you can pay for coffee with your Bitcoin. There are countries, I think there was a country in El Salvador that actually spend Bitcoin only. Support them. There are a lot of projects, just search Bitcoin only. There are a lot of apps out there that just accept Bitcoin. So use it and replenish it. In fact, right now, if you had Bitcoin, if you buy Bitcoin and use Bitcoin, this is the best time possible, right? Funny enough, I don't think anyone wants you to do this, but this is the best time possible to actually buy and spend Bitcoin because it's so low. So you can buy it, spend it, buy it, spend it. Just make sure you replenish it. If you stop replenishing your Bitcoin, that's where the problem comes in, because then you go back and regret and go, oh goodness, I wish I hadn't bought that pizza for 0.0. But what you're doing then, the problem you did is the fact that you spent your Bitcoin without replenishing it. It's almost the same as spending your US dollar without replenishing it. If you don't replenish your US dollar, you run out of money. If you don't replenish your Bitcoin, you run out of money. You think of both sides the same way, right? So, I mean, I'd like to stop there, right, without rambling on too much, right? So again, it's just a quick chat before I get to work for my customers, for Orukka users. So again, sorry, by the way, you can order this from www.orukka.com, Orukka. But the point I'm trying to make, just to explain to everyone, right, is that it's possible that Bitcoin is going on a downward spiral, and it's going there because people allowed, it didn't have a choice really. The governments and everyone and institutions have actually bought into Bitcoin. And when they buy into Bitcoin, they can dump it. They can manipulate the price as much as they want, which is what they've done. They manipulated the price and sold heavily. When you sell heavily, it drops the price. Don't be in the game for that, right? Don't be in the game to buy and sell and hold Bitcoin. Be in this game to spend Bitcoin as a currency. If you're buying Bitcoin because you want to go against the government, then buy it and use it against the government. I don't support that, by the way, because we do fiat as well with these ones. We do fiat to work with governments, we work with Bitcoin. We're independent, agnostic. But the point I'm trying to make is, and I feel sorry for people who turn around and get shocked at the price of Bitcoin and the worry. Some people reach out to me and go, hey, what do you think is happening with Bitcoin? And I say the same thing I'm saying to you as well. It's possible that it's on a downward spiral. It's possible that it's I'm going to have a new video on this one as well, because I can spend a whole day talking about Bitcoiners and how they think, right? But it's completely different to how we think, how we in banking world think, right? Because right now I can tell you Bitcoin can be next to nothing, but people are still going to buy it and then it's going to jump back up as well, because Bitcoiners just love Bitcoin. I think what they need to do, Bitcoiners, and I see this a lot, what they need to do is stop begging the government to buy. Stop begging investors and US governments to recognize Bitcoin, because Bitcoin wasn't built to be recognized by central authorities. In fact, at this point, I think banks are now going into it naturally because customers are there. So if you buy Bitcoin, if you use Bitcoin every day, if you hold Bitcoin, what will happen is banks would, and institutions and governments will be in Bitcoin. They will actually go in there, right? And they'll try and understand what Bitcoin is, which is what they're doing now. So just carry what you're doing. My advice, which is don't take it as an advice. My suggestion, let me call it a suggestion, is to not treat Bitcoin as an asset, because it could go up and go down, and irrationally as well, right? Others you can tell, right? We can tell. You can actually compute and know exactly where you think it's going to go. Not the same for Bitcoin. That's all. Thank you. I wish I could tell you more. I wish I could have better news on that, but I don't. It is what it is. Bitcoin it's irrational. Yeah. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.